Hello my people, what's up? Once again, welcome to Classical Music Talks with Patches. Today we're continuing the talking about the Fantasie op.17 of Schumann. Today we'll be discussing the second movement and the third movement. In the first part we discussed the first movement alone, which is in itself a huge workload in itself. It's a huge masterpiece in its own right. And today we're going to talk about the second and third movement to more discuss one of the three main inspirations of Schumann, as I talked in the first part. So remember, it's Clara, Eusebius and Florestan. And there is no piece that actually shows it better than the Fantasie. So I believe the first movement is Florestan and Eusebius, but they serve Clara. So the first movement is all about Clara and the emotions Schumann has for her, the passionate feelings and the longing he has for her in her absence. The second movement is a typical Florestan movement. Is just Schumann at his most exuberant and really energetic, and also comes a kind of humorous self. And the third movement is Eusebius, which is, by the way, my name, Euseb. That doesn't have anything to do with this music. So the third movement is more about Schumann really becoming introspective and just creating some good songs. So it's interesting to see how much of the Fantasie actually incorporates all the three interesting inspirations of Schumann's. So we're going to particularly discuss about the second movement, but we're going to talk about Schumann's relationship with his contemporaries. So this is our story time, once again. Schumann was actually a very gifted composer in terms of actually scouting talent. We can give him the credit for actually having spotted Brahms, because without Schumann, Brahms would have been would not have had the spotlight. I don't think there could have been anyone in the world of music that would be able to appreciate Brahms' music as much as the Schumanns did, because Clara and Robert were together in that journey of actually hosting some talent and just promoting them a bit. Schumann did it on the he was a journalist in a certain paper, and he could really talk about music and talk about musicians. He's also one of the reasons Chopin was so famous. He famously said, "Hats off, gentlemen, a genius." And it's interesting to see that he was the age mate of Chopin. When Chopin was 17, bursting onto the scene in Vienna, after just getting out of Poland for a tour, Schumann was the same age, but he was already working in a magazine. So it's interesting to see how much Schumann is a very charismatic character. He also had a good relationship with Felix Mendelssohn Bartholdy, the genius that was called the new Mozart, because he had an incredibly uncanny talent, and he was an incredible conductor. He's one of the people that resurrected the music of Bach for real. So without Mendelssohn, we would really not know the greatest of Bach's music. It will just stay in libraries and be played by students, like we maybe study Czerny's music or Hanon's technical studies. So it will be study music rather than actually prestigious and respected music. So credit to him. So it is interesting to see that actually Schumann was kind of a huge playing a huge role in that. And they also knew the best pianists at the time. He knew Clara Wieck, who was going to soon become his wife, who is his primary source of inspiration. And he also knew Liszt. And Liszt was a phenomenon. If you could say that in the 19th century, what we call greatest of all time or GOAT status, we can give it to Liszt, because anything that was not playable at that time, Liszt just made it possible, and he played to the accounts of many. He had the complete scope. He did not only have the technique, but he was incredibly musically and emotionally geared for every kind of music of that time. So Liszt was the most important person in making Chopin's music even more popular, and he was responsible for Wagner's success. But he later on had conflicts with the school of Schumann, because Liszt was more futuristic, and the school of Schumann and Brahms and Clara Schumann were just conservatives. Okay, coming then to this work then, which is interesting, is that Schumann was fascinated by Liszt's gift and talent, so he dedicated actually this work to Schumann, the whole Fantasie. No, sorry, Schumann dedicated this whole work to Liszt, and I could be honest now looking at the second movement. Why? Because the second movement is the most difficult thing. Yeah, you can see why. It is just a war horse. It feels, I'm being honest, as a pianist playing it, it feels like war. Doesn't mean it's the most difficult movement, but there is a lot going on to just pack in one performance. And it's a very typical German march. So how energetic is this? And it is, for me, requires a lot of stamina and a lot of concentration, which I'm not so gifted in, so I really need to work so hard on that side of things. But yes, there it is. Now thinking about, I'm going to talk about how it ends. The second movement ends incredibly triumphantly. And this passage, I've even listened to the greatest of pianists. Sometimes you could hear Horowitz missing. I cannot compare myself to Horowitz, because Horowitz is a genius. But I have to say, yes, I understand now why Liszt was especially dedicated to this. It's because simply this thing, only Liszt could play it at that time, maybe, and give it as much justice. Maybe. The second movement is really Florestan. You can just identify. So I'm going for the Eusebius part now, the third movement. And the third movement for me is, wow, unforgettable. This is why I even love this work as a fantasy. It's really complete, and it just after such a crazy thing. You need to take a break, right? etc. So you see, I'm already taken away. So so there's a lot of interesting aspects in this. I'm gonna discuss as many as I can. There are as many themes and as many ideas, and I have to say Schumann is an inventor, a real musical inventor. First of all, the song aspect of this. It's important to realize this is a song. It's not a piece of piano. I don't think of it as a piece of piano. So this is kind of an introduction, right? The beginning. You just set the floor, right? And we're ready. I'm ready to sing. Unforgettable, right? And there's the dreamy theme. Sospiro. It starts so dreamy, and it starts now getting a bit insecure. You're going to hear it. So this is kind of agitated a bit. And change. Now it gets sad. Now comes a new theme now, and that's one song that does not stop. Tapis. Oh, where are we going? This theme is beautiful, right? This is going to be the most important theme. So the other themes are going to be used as transitions, but the most important theme here, and which creates the mood, it generates most of the mood, which is at the heart, is this melody that I was saying. Now lower. Play a bit. I love this part. Bass. There's something is coming, right? Yeah, this is an incredible moment here. The heat and the tension that builds up from like. Amazing, right? The way he builds up the tension and he does not stop. So what happens is just the return of everything. So maybe I can come to the end, but I cannot state how much this movement feels like a relief, and he thought very well to end with a slow movement, because we've had the first, which is a very agitated and tumultuous movement. The second, that is like, let me show you how much biceps I have. It's so Germanic and grandiose, I could say. And we have a movement that is so humble and so singing, and no better way to end it. So let me maybe play with you all around the end once again. I love this part. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please, if you love the content, share to the people that might be interested. There's a bunch of community that are more interested in a bit more educational videos. So yeah, share them and give them a chance to meet me. I would like to actually invite you to my concert. The 25th of this month, February 2021. It will be held at 6:30 p.m. Central African time, or Helsinki time for people that don't know CAT. You're very welcome on Instagram, so I'll put my Instagram account on the description, and have a nice day. Take care. Bye bye.